What's up, guys? Good morning. How's everybody doing? Ray, good morning. Anthony, Kellen Rock, nice to see you guys. Sorry, guys, I am fighting off a little cold. I just got back from a run, so that got my lungs all worked up. What's up, Steve-O? Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. If you are on, yeah, I'm losing my voice, but I'm getting through it. It's all right. It's not too bad. I just picked up a small cold. Now that I have kids, anytime I go anywhere, seems like it's so easy to pick up a cold. All right, so we'll get into the analysis. Special welcome for everyone that has pre-joined early, the new community. I'll touch on that later. If you're joining in on Instagram, I recommend checking out the link in, recommend checking out the link that is in my story for the YouTube live stream, because I'm sharing my screens on there and I'll stay on the live stream longer on there. So if you're just tuned in on Instagram, I recommend checking out the stream on YouTube. What's up, Daniel, Adam, Licio? If I mispronounce your name, please let me know how to say it better. I'm doing my best. English is not my strong suit. It's more of the math and science. Good morning, Blair. Welcome in. Appy, Stelios. It's doing all right. Welcome in, guys. Laksh, good morning. Lucky Hodak. Welcome in. Welcome in. Ishan, good morning. Welcome in. So take a look at the news, actually. I think today is not significant either. I actually haven't even pulled up the news yet today. From what I remember yesterday when I looked, it was kind of Wednesday, Thursday, higher impact, CPI, PPI. Yeah, today, some payroll news in 40 minutes. I don't have that marked as super significant. But PPI tomorrow and CPI the next day. So given that yesterday was an inside day, right in tight consolidation, really right inside the middle of the range from Friday. And then so far, we're still inside that range. We faked out the highs. I'll get into that in a moment. But if you're in my new private live trading community, where I'll do coaching and mentorship and everything for everyone, you'll remember from the game plan yesterday, we were watching for these 93s to be defended, and we were watching for pops above 65.08 to fail, both of which happened today, rejected back towards the middle. Did not get continuation outside of that, so it was looking to see if we did break out of that, to see if we would get continuation. We did not. Both extremes rejected, and that's a typical consolidation day where you look to fade failures at the extremes. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so yeah. So given the fact that yesterday was an inside day, we have higher impact news upcoming tomorrow. NFP revision. Yeah, sometimes that can be a thing. Sometimes that can be a thing. So we do need to kind of watch that. But not totally significant. Yeah, that's what I was saying, the payrolls news in about 38 minutes. We'll see if it's like a massive data outlier and a very unexpected result, then something could happen from that. Good morning, Brad. Welcome in. Again, apologies about my voice. I've been doing a lot of live calls the last couple days, and I'm fighting off a cold, so it's going away, losing my voice. All right, so let's just dive into the analysis here. Come on. Clean this up. These. So same thing we've been talking about for a while now. We've been holding this daily trend line. Just looking at the daily chart here on ES, we have had a couple strong drops under it that turned into massive fake outs, and the wicks recaptured really pretty much above this trend line. So despite these large drops, because they turned into wicks and closed really above the trend line pretty much every time, I've still maintained keeping the same trend lined up. So I use the Bloomberg economic calendar, and I filter it to only show me like medium and high impact news, Joe. That's what I look at right there. So we have this daily trend line that we've been holding pretty well. And yesterday was pretty much a very inside day. However, we are holding above the 50% from Friday. Let me drop down to the 4-hour here. So just kind of putting some context together here, we are still maintaining really above this 50% from that range. But we are also rejecting this area of supply, and we can see it more clearly if I drop down to the 1-hour time frame here. We have pretty much around there, call it, this area of supply where the market consolidated and then rejected strongly down the sellers that initiated this drop on Friday. Here, let me do this. I like to do this lately. So you can see pretty much this area here is what I'm talking about as that I'm watching this area as supply. We could draw it more perfectly, but you can see we've tested this a couple times kind of here at yesterday's highs. We kind of inched our way up to it and swept above it overnight, and so far rejected back down. So I'm still kind of cautiously watching this area as kind of a consolidation area. But since we rejected yesterday's highs in this area of supply, I am kind of watching for pops this morning to fail to see if we can target yesterday's lows. That is kind of counter trend though, because buying the dip has been the best setup for the last year and a half. So again, when I trade these kind of shorts, I am very cautious, and I'm looking to trade it as kind of just a quick scalp. So that is one setup that I am watching for this morning here. Again, for everyone in the private community, you got a more detailed game plan this morning, and I will add to it with this here that you guys are seeing. Yeah, news at 10. Brandon asked, are you going to be doing the StreamYard still or just YouTube Live? So Brandon, if you're not aware, this is not a totally public announcement just yet. It has been pretty much private, but I have launched my own kind of private community to offer live trading and coaching and mentorship for everyone in there. I've really enjoyed the community that we've kind of built here on Instagram and YouTube, and I decided to take it a step further and offer kind of more individualized support for everyone in this private community and host most of my live streams there. So I'll still continue to do some free value stuff for you guys here on YouTube and Instagram. If you're not wanting to really kind of take it to the next level, that's all good. But again, it's not really so much a signals chat or anything. It's really primarily focused. I do the live trading and I do share my trades and everything, but it's not for the purpose of just being a signals chat or anything like that. it is for the purpose of, helping educate and helping people become better traders. So if you're interested in that, here's the link. I'll share it in the chat for everyone. Again, I did open a pre-launch waitlist, which I've already started approving, and we're already getting a solid group in there. It's probably not going to be open forever, and the price will be going up after the launch. However, if you are more serious about trading and you want a more tight-knit community and you want more, kind of direct mentorship and coaching from me, and these live streams that I do for free on a more regular basis, and my daily game plans, daily live trading and stuff like that, that's all going to be within this private community. And I hope to see you guys in there, help you level up your trading. But with that out of the way, if you have any questions about that, send me a DM. I don't want to waste too much time on that. Again, no worries if you guys aren't ready for that. I'm not trying to pitch anyone. It's just, this is what I'm doing to bring in more value to everyone. So again, this area of supply, I am still watching for it to reject this morning. All right, so let me make this more clear. I'm watching this area of supply where I drew this to possibly reject this morning. We've already kind of hit that once and twice and rejected. Downside targets would probably be yesterday's lows, yesterday's close, or yesterday's consolidation area in the afternoon. So again, not trying to hit a massive home run on downside moves for the most part. I just look to take them for quick scalps if we do continue to reject there. We also have that 6,500 whole number, and this area has been key for a while now. So market just opened up. As long as we continue to hold above this area to the downside, especially if we fake out under yesterday's lows, I am watching kind of the 90s to 6,500 for longs. Actually, let me make this more clear. Kind of this general area, if we hold above there on a dip, I am watching that to get long. So let me switch my screen over now. The market did just open up. Again, I'm not looking to rush into anything here in the first couple minutes off the open. So we are holding kind of above VWAP here, this anchored VWAP level that I have. A lot of buying right here at 907 earlier this morning. But if there's a big adjustment to the payrolls numbers, that could spark some volatility. So let's be mindful of that. Yeah, the mentorship is open. Let me check my Instagram DMs. If you could send me a message again. It is back up. The WAP website went down briefly yesterday for some people that were trying to join, but it is back up now. So please send me a DM again, and I will check that for you. Good morning, Jose. Welcome in. So we did have quite a bit of selling there in the pre-market. And again, like almost every sell-off for the last 2 years, it went nowhere. And so far, got quickly bought. All right, for those of you that are tuned in on Instagram, I will be staying on the live stream on YouTube, so I recommend joining in there, but I am going to pop off the Instagram live stream. Hope to see you guys join over on YouTube. See ya. This is almost a little bit of kind of like a no trade zone. Be cautious for me. This middle consolidation area, middle of Friday's range yesterday, middle of yesterday's range today. Just looking at the 15-minute, you can see this is what I'm talking about. So middle of, actually here, this is a better way to do this. I don't want to block up the live stuff too much. But when we have a tightening consolidation range, I like to just be patient and wait for something really good to develop and avoid. So this is that range from Friday. Then in the middle of that, we had this range yesterday, and then overnight and into today, we have this range here. So you can just kind of see how we're just kind of narrowing into this range. And so I like to avoid just getting chopped up until we see something good outside of this range. I don't want to get too over anxious in this tight little spot here in the middle. Any questions on the pre-market game plan from anyone? Let me know in the chat. I've been working a lot to get this new thing set up to give a lot of value to everyone in this new community. I've got a lot of content planned for it, for our kind of live educational calls, coaching calls that we'll be going through. So I've been pretty much working nonstop. I think I was at my desk for probably 15 hours yesterday working on stuff for you guys. So lots to come. Zoom live streams have almost no delay. Yeah, I may check out Zoom. I do use the StreamYard, but I may check out Zoom as well if it's less delay. Hey, Pat and Gio, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right, probably not, but I'm not seeing your message, but if you can, uh, send me another message on Instagram. So a lot of buying on this pump up here. We'll see if it gets rejected and sold into. Pretty 10 minutes in, 5 to 12, like 6-7 point range. This is interesting. Starting to see quite a bit of selling hit here on this pop. This is just, I'm not sure what to make of this just yet, but this is kind of interesting. Orders hitting here. Let's watch this. Oops. One way or another, this is kind of an interesting activity going on here. We have 600 and then 500 lots of negative delta up there. So a lot of selling there. Let's see. We have that payrolls news in 20 minutes. Yeah, a lot of selling off that pop. It's kind of a little bit of maybe that scenario that I was talking about in the pre-market. Yeah, look at all this selling, like Joe pointed out on this, a lot of aggressive selling on this pop this morning. Sorry. Excuse me. Sometimes I kind of like when people always ask about like the time frame and stuff that I view on Bookmap. You can see I'm always kind of zooming in and out, but one thing I do is I kind of like to zoom out a little bit to like maybe like the 15-minute interval here, and then just kind of zoom in a few clicks at a time until I get to a place that just kind of feels good visibility, like based on the current volatility. So like kind of like right about here right now. pretty dull right at the moment, though. This was some interesting activity up here, and you can see we did drop off from that. We'll see what happens if we pop back up there. Either way, if we get above that or reject again below that, that was kind of interesting orders up here. And you can see on the heat map, actually, see how this offer filled here and then reappeared again, this passive seller around 65.12. So we clearly see some selling here and then kind of re-offered here in this zone. So that's interesting. We'll see. How's everybody been trading recently? I was out last week. Again, I kind of took a mini vacation with my family for a week, went on a cruise. Had that planned for a while, but I'm just kind of getting back into the swing of things. Sometimes taking even just a week off can feel like a very long time. Kind of get a feel for the order flow, get a feel for the kind of the daily stuff again. CVD is bleeding, but market's still holding. Yeah, that's true. Friday hammered you. Didn't manage risk. I've been there. I mean, step one that you have to overcome to make it in trading is really controlling your downside and completely eliminating blowups. Like, you have to have a very strict, like, max daily loss. For me, that's like 3 average size losses in a day, and it's done. You have to be extreme. Like, that's like risk management is the number one thing you have to be religious about. Then you can start kind of mastering and developing and advancing the other aspects of trading. But until you can master that one, kind of nothing else matters. But I've been through it. Believe me. Took a week off last week too. Look at that. Man, that was a great short opportunity. Right at that box. No hindsight there. Just interesting activity around those orders. I think this is pretty slow and lacking volatility for me. And also we're kind of in the middle of that range. So just like, I'm pointing these things out to see it, but it's not, I'm not quite ready to like click into a trade right at the moment. Just lacking kind of volatility and interest. We'll see if maybe that changes after the news. But there's certainly a healthy amount of selling so far this morning. There's some payroll news. It's not always significant, but it potentially could be. This payrolls benchmark in 13 minutes. Still quite a bit of selling. I mean, obviously passive buyers are kind of holding the dip and aggressive buyers as well, but yeah, So we're still just like right in the middle of this little drop that occurred like right at 9 a.m. So it's hard to want to like press a trade right now, just being like, even just this 5-minute range that developed in the pre-market at like 9 a.m. to 9:05 a.m. You know, first almost 20 minutes into the 9:30 bell, and we're just like right in the middle of that little 5-minute pre-market range. So patience, preserve capital. I always preach that. Not always just like hunting for action. You know what I mean? Just being patient for A+ setups that I know I can repeat on a daily basis. And if it's not there, then we just got to let go and let it develop. Thoughts on a drop, base drop on the SPY daily. Check out SPY. I'm not seeing anything super significant. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm trying here. I'm not seeing anything super significant, Tori. Thanks, Lucky. Yeah, I wish there was something else that I could tell you guys, but the pre-market analysis still stands. We're just hugging the middle of this range, and this is what I was talking about here on the you can even just see it on the 2-minute chart here. We had this range formed like in a 5-minute range there in the pre-market, and we're still just right in the middle of that, which is right in the middle of yesterday's range, which is right in the middle of the day prior's range. So definitely, you know, be cautious here and be patient. Yeah, I mean, the cumulative delta is maintaining negative. I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see that eventually just spill over and drop soon. The problem is like we're right in the middle of the range, and we have some news coming out in 9 minutes. So yeah, it could work. You could be a part of it, but the probability of trading like that on a regular basis is not probably have a positive expectancy over time. No, I have the TM Lite over here, which I can flip over to. Somebody asked about that. But that kind of filters out some of like the bot type bracket orders that kind of fake things out. But that hasn't been too much of a problem lately. So I like to just see everything on the regular chart without filtering anything out right now. If that becomes a problem again with like the bracket orders and stuff, then I'll switch back over to the TM Lite. Apple event today. Oh, true. That can definitely, that's a good one. I wasn't tracking that. See, I just came back from a week off, so I'm not totally affluent in everything going on right now. Yeah, the Apple event can be a big one. 3 hours away. Yep, that could be a big one. Anybody have any other questions you want me to cover in this? Let me know. The order book is super balanced right now. No one is in control yet. Yeah, I mean, sellers are certainly, I mean, we can see on the cumulative delta here. All right. You can see on the cumulative delta here, there's almost more than 6,000 lots in the negative. So there is definitely more aggressive sellers than there is buyers. But we haven't really gone anywhere to the downside yet. Certainly could be building. Yeah, so just putting pieces of context together, right? Like this is how we approach the market every day. We have a game plan of what we could see happen, but also keep in mind we're kind of in the middle of a multi-day consolidation range now that's getting tighter and tighter. We have upcoming CPI and PPI news in the next 2 days. We have, upcoming news at 10 a.m. and the 1 p.m. So there's a lot of reasons to just kind of be cash right now. As much as I want to be doing something for the live stream right now with you guys, we have a lot of reasons to just be patient right now and be prepared to act when opportunity does come. The best thing I saw so far was this interesting activity up here at the highs around 65.12. And you could see we tested that box that I drew once, twice, and both times dropped from there. Sorry, guys, 1 sec. And I wasn't this bad before, but I think my run this morning and then combined with now like talking on the live stream and stuff is definitely aggravating my throat and everything. Trying to not just sit here and cough into the mic for you guys. NQ. Look at that. We tested that anchored VWAP again. 1, 2, third time here, and kind of large orders hitting here now, right before news. So this is becoming an important area to watch. 65.03, 65.12. Whoa, Israel just bombed Qatar? That's not good. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Even the United States has a lot of stuff in Qatar. I was into Qatar on the deployment and when I was in the Marines. Spent some time in Qatar. Listen, I have no dogs in the fight here, but one of these days Israel's going to F around and find out. Keep bombing everybody around the world. Hamas leader was targeted. I mean, yeah, but I mean, you got to be cautious going into other countries' airspace and dropping bombs. That can lead to big problems, regardless of who you're targeting. Yeah, just look at the DOM here. We can just see how thin. I mean, this is quite thin. We're seeing obviously a lot of heavy selling stack up here, here. Relatively heavy, but overall, to me, this looks pretty thin and balanced. Offer appearing right here. Overall, this looks just pretty thin and balanced, guys. You can see how we're just kind of building volume here. So this is the volume profile sell, volume profile buy. So this is aggressive buyers, aggressive sellers. And you can see how we're just kind of like building a bulge in volume here. And then dwindling to the upside, dwindling to the downside. So just a very tight consolidation here, kind of can see it in many different ways. But we can check out the volume profile here. And this is just typical balance. When you see just like a mountain of volume like this, there's the 10 a.m. news. Sorry, let me move this. But when you see just kind of a mountain of volume building like that in a consolidation area, you definitely want to avoid being chopped up in that. That is the way, Laksh. Very good and very good, very good. No experience in Hinduism stuff, but very good, Laksh. Three-minute candle. That's not one that I look at. I primarily look at like the 2-minute, sometimes the 1-minute stuff, but I don't really need to go lower than that because I'm mostly looking at candle charts just for like kind of structure and overall analysis. You know, obviously looking at Bookmap, I'm seeing like the orders come in by the second. So looking at kind of like a 1-minute candle is totally irrelevant. 3 minutes interesting. And normally for most of like the intraday, I normally have like a 2-minute and a 15-minute chart pulled up. Again, exactly like I said, even before the news, if you guys remember, I said this is kind of key here between 65.12, 65.03, because we can clearly see that anchored VWAP being defended and this level being defended where a passive seller keeps appearing. You can see it appeared here. See how he appeared here, and where did that bounce to? Right there. So no significant changes here. Again, for those of you that are not already in kind of the new private group, I'd recommend checking this out if you want to be a part of kind of the daily live streams, analysis, and direct access to me throughout every trading day for coaching and mentorship and all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be really good, and a lot of people will find a lot of progress in their trading journey here. And I'm excited to help people with it. If you are interested in that, the link is on the screen here, and I'll throw it again in the chat. But would love to see all of you guys in there. A lot of good stuff to come. So I recommend checking that out if you'd like to be a part of it and you're kind of more serious about your trading journey and not just looking for trade signals. Like I said, I do live trading and share the analysis and things like that, but really for the purpose of teaching you guys how to fish for yourself and how to read this stuff in real time. Kind of no hindsight bias. I also teach a lot of my very, very specific setups in there, things that I look for, and review trades in great detail there to help you kind of compare and contrast with your own. And also, review members' trades and provide you real-time feedback. A lot of what I do is just almost like second nature to me because I've been doing this for almost 9 years since I started trading. And so, reading this kind of stuff, I've just spent so many thousands of hours. It's just like almost second nature, but I've really tried to spend a lot of time this year trying to formalize it and communicate it with you guys to help you kind of gain that experience in a much faster way than I did and avoid a lot of the mistakes that I made along the way. So that's really my goal, is to help shortcut people's learning curve and avoid a lot of the mistakes that are avoidable if you have more kind of professional coaching and community to support you. Yeah, it's I'm kind of talking through this right now just because there's not a lot of excitement going on right now. I wish I could share a great trade with you guys at the moment, but right now it's a situation where I'm staying cash. Preserving capital is so key. I mean, it doesn't matter if you make money on trades. Anybody can make money on some trades, but if you lose 10 times that in choppy conditions because you weren't patient and disciplined to wait for a good trade setup, then it doesn't matter. Eliminating mistakes and bad trades is such a key and under-focused area. Everybody wants to focus on what setups to trade and what to do. And yeah, you should focus on that to take good trades. But the equal part of knowing like what's a good setup is knowing what's not that and not getting yourself into trouble when it's not that. I think that's probably, I know for myself, I struggled with that a lot. And probably what a lot of people struggle with. Everybody knows how to take great trades a lot of times, especially, you can learn, I can teach you my trade setups and we can learn that pretty quickly. But even if I gave extreme detail on every single setup that I took and handed it in an ebook to someone and said, like, here's the keys, 90+% of people probably just wouldn't be able to execute it because they just can't follow it and they can't be patient and disciplined and find the right moments to do it. So that is such a key aspect. And that's what I hope to impart in a lot of the live streams that I do, is show you what things look good and what things to avoid, and then how to approach the market like a professional every day and be able to identify the subtle differences between what's good and what's not. But a lot of that just comes with unfortunately, just years and years and tens of thousands of hours of experience and making mistakes. You know, talk about it, and I try to impart that to you, but a lot of it is something that you have to go through. But it's very difficult to go through it without, you know, someone that's been through it helping you get there to the other side. Don't understand why ES isn't reacting on this news, Matt. Gold is reacting on it, and news said Trump gave the approval for the attacks. I don't know. I can't predict it or understand it. I mean, gold is a lot more sensitive to things in the Middle East because of oil, right? And oil and gold commodities tend to react more sensitively to that. How much does that actually impact US stocks, like especially like Magnificent Seven stocks and things that have significant weighting on the S&P? The market right now is telling us it doesn't have that much impact. Oil and gold, probably it has a lot of impact on, but US stocks, right now the market is telling us it doesn't give a shit. Pardon my French. Orlando, no trades yet, just stay in cash for me, talking through what I'm seeing for you guys. But really, I mean, we're holding inside like a 6 or 7 point range that traded in like 5 minutes in the pre-market. Yeah, so sometimes you have to kind of take a step back and understand a little bit of the fundamentals. As a technical trader, I really don't dive too much into the technicals except for to understand a little bit of macro, what's going on. I don't dive super deep into technicals of companies and everything else. Appy, I think the market has come to expect that Iran is just a yapping dog with no all bark and no bite. So I don't think markets, unless something actually happens, I don't think the market's too concerned about Iran anymore. My opinion. Take it or leave it. Honestly, even when all that stuff popped off earlier this year with Iran and Israel getting into direct conflict, there was a lot less of an impact on the market than what I expected, to be honest. So same levels, same things applies. That 6503 is holding. We'll see if we're going to break out above these 6512s now. If we do go break out above these 6512s, I don't see too much from stopping us to go back to, maybe 20s to 30, 25s. So let's watch this. If we get some momentum outside of this now and pull back, this same range is still valid to me here. A lot of strong buying here now. Just want to be a little bit cautious, like just longing a breakout on the first breakout attempt here. It's typically better to fade the extremes if we were looking to get long, more over here on those 6500s, 6503s that we saw develop here around vicinity of this anchored VWAP. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just a mixed bag so far this morning. We just had that high breakout attempt and just kind of rejected right back down here. Did not hold this kind of key area here, where this key activity was earlier. There pretty much was no real support that stepped in. Would have liked to see like kind of bids stepping in and stuff. Maybe it will down here a little bit more, a little bit deeper pullback. But we're just continuing to kind of hold this range. There is some kind of bids appearing here though, so see. But we had all this aggressive buying into the highs that just completely faded so far. Yeah, pretty much just consolidation price action. I do kind of like how some bids are stepping in here on this dip back. We'll see if it holds now or if it wants to go back again to the low of the day again after taking out the highs. Yeah, certainly fading the extremes on a consolidation range is typically the move. Looking at the charts here. Instant rejection from basically the highs almost all the way back to the lows now. So absolutely no follow through. Still trying to hold above this anchored VWAP level. But man, you don't love that either way for unless you're just kind of scalping a fake out on the highs and lows. You don't love that. We'll see if buyers want to hold another higher low above this anchored VWAP here. There is a couple hundred lots of positive delta now coming in around 65.07. 65 kind of 05 to 08 was an interesting area yesterday on the tape as well. Like somebody mentioned, we do have that Apple event at 1 p.m. And we also have CPI and PPI the next 2 days. So very well could be a cash day. Arnie, footprint settings, I don't have any shared anywhere. If you're interested in Tradeovate, I do have an older video on my YouTube going over Tradeovate settings, which is the footprint I generally recommend for most people. And I will be in future kind of calls in the private community going over settings and configurations and stuff for different apps and things that I use. Really watching to see what happens here if sellers really kind of take control. They've kind of held control. The cumulative delta has grown slightly more. But if they really can't take control here and strong passive buyers continue to defend above this anchored VWAP, above this 6500s, it's not unreasonable to think we don't go take out the highs again. But looking at the 15-minute, it's pretty much just a barcode. I do like how this buyer is present here holding this. We can see all this negative delta here as we dropped above this anchored VWAP where we made these prior lows. We can see all this heavy selling coming in and price going nowhere so far. So we'll see if that ends up breaking down from here, or if this holds a higher low now, we could go possibly take out the highs again. But it's not looking super strong. So this anchored VWAP settings is over here. You can see that's where it's anchored from. And this is kind of just the default anchored VWAP settings from Bookmap. Standard VWAP is not anchored. So this must just be, this green one here is, sorry, the blue one is an old anchored VWAP. The green one is the just regular VWAP, and I think that's just regular trading hours. Yeah, I agree, Ishan. It's definitely close to a point of just preserving the mental capital and not wasting capital or mental capital on this type of action. Again, we have like CPI and PPI coming tomorrow, which could definitely spark some more action. So I'd stand by for that. Some heftier selling coming in here. Yeah, no doubt. We certainly could see a break of this consolidation to the downside. And then that could definitely lead to yesterday's lows around 64.90s. I don't have too much of a plan to try to catch that downside low. Like either I would catch a top reversal or just kind of let it go. I don't really want to chase it down. It's just too vulnerable to really aggressive pops that kind of stop hunt you if you chase it down. Appy asked, are any other recommendations for order flow books? Honestly, no. Like Screen Time and Experience is the biggest thing. The biggest book, like I recommend, the Studies in Tape Reading is a good one. It's an old book, but kind of the market auction concepts are as old as time and haven't changed too much. Just technology has. So kind of understanding that and understanding the other participants that are in the market and how to kind of analyze that is key. Yeah, exactly like Laksh just said. But all right, guys, it's a pretty dull day. I think we're going to have some more action with CPI and PPI tomorrow. I will update you guys in the private group, Flipping Futures. If you're not in there already, the link is shared in this chat, and I definitely recommend just checking it out. There's going to be a lot of really good stuff in there, but I will update you guys on any further game plans throughout the day. For those of you in here that are in there, you guys will see continued updates from me. If I do have any setups develop, I'll share it with you guys in there. But I think that's going to do it for me at the present moment. I do like this buying we're seeing down here. So I am watching this, but I'll update you guys in the private group so we're not just blowing through mental capital watching this today. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. Appreciate that, Jasmine. Yeah, hopefully my voice doesn't deteriorate any further because I was wanting to do like more of the live streams this week. So, all right, I'll see you guys in the Discord. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Really, everything from the game plan is still valid so far, so still watching that stuff. But I'll update you guys in the live commentary on there. All right, I'll see you guys.